All right. Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Tonight we're going to be talking about, is the Pandora box about to be open? We're going to have a conversation, so I'm curious to know what my my audience is thinking. So many things going on right now. So many things. So I thought we'd start off a little bit with scripture. And then I was advised by some of my advisors to not talk about certain things in case my channel gets banned, because I've already been getting videos blocked. It's crazy. You think you have freedom of speech, but you don't really. You don't. So I might have to speak a little bit of code tonight just to confuse the algorithm just a little bit. So we'll see. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm going to turn off the music. I'm going to turn it down. How do you like the music? It's pretty cool, huh? Listen to this. I feel like a DJ. I feel like a DJ tonight. All right. Enough of that. All right. How's everybody doing? And Jemima in the house. Darcy, brother Darcy from our men's group is here tonight. So that's cool. I wonder where my mom is. I wonder if she's going to be chiming in. Sometimes I get some of my family, my brother, my sisters. Sometimes my mom chimes in from time to time. She's my number one fan. And then also, what did I say? Brothers, sisters, mothers. And then also my brother-in-law, perhaps. Yes, I actually am on Rumble. I just haven't really... It feels weird. It feels weird to go on Rumble. Like I feel a little bit lost there. Like I'm so comfortable here. And yet all I have to do is just repost this onto Rumble. And I think maybe next time I'll try it, because it is a little bit more dangerous. Yeah, I think you can type in just Black Swan Revelations on Rumble. The reason why I say dangerous, it feels weird. Like you can get the World Health Organization announced stuff. And if you talk about it and just say, oh, there's something interesting happening in Africa, depending how you talk about it, your channel could be shut down, demonetized, subscribers could be unsubscribed. Like, it's crazy. But yet you can talk about just about anything else on the planet. You can talk about Hamas, you can talk about terrorist groups, all kinds of stuff. And yet, if you just want to know what's going on in other places about certain things, like the Pandora's box being open, all of a sudden it's like, can't talk about it. Well, I say we should go to Scripture, and I think that's probably the safest place to go, is go to Scripture, and then you guys could read between the lines. All right. So, yeah, pray for all the channels with all the watchmen, because it's weird when you think about it. You can talk about anything else, but there are certain things you can't talk about, and you don't know what the rules are. That's the crazy part. They don't tell you, hey, you can't talk about this, because to me, talking about it shouldn't ban your channel. But that's what could happen if you just talk about it, because then they could say you misunderstood something or whatever it is. So they just punt you. It's weird, right? Anyways. All right. Iron Dome this channel with prayer. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So let's go to Revelation chapter, what are we at? 16, I think. Let's go to 16. This has always been kind of an interesting verse, interesting chapter. Let me just make sure you guys can see this. Good thing I checked. All right, let me get rid of this background here. Boom. And I want to put a different kind of background. How about this one? I got rid of it? What? Oh yeah, here it is. Right here. There we go. Look how nice that is. All right. So let's go to, whoa. Thanks, Andrew. Really appreciate it. Andrew just donated. Thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. That's awesome. Love your opinion here. I was attacked nastily by a post-tribber. My strongest argument for pre-trib, if we see the beginning, we can count the exact days to mid and post, so no man knows, and Jesus would be lying. Love your opinion. I was attacked nastily by a post-tribber. My strongest argument for pre-trib is if we see the beginning, we can count exact days to the mid and post, so no man knows, and Jesus would be lying. All right. You might have to rephrase that, because either it's late at night, because I'm not quite sure what you're saying. I think I know what you're saying, because I think that's the argument for after the rapture, that you could basically start counting the days. But there are some people that are in the post-trib camp that would say things like, no, you can't. It's more complicated. Jesus has to come from Egypt first, and he has to go through the desert, and then he has to march all the way to Jerusalem. That's according to Joel Richardson and FAI Studios. They're waiting for Jesus to show up in the desert and march from Egypt. And we all know what Jesus said. If someone says, go to the desert to find me, don't go there. But yet Joel keep talking about it. And I'm like, dude, don't say that. Don't tell people to go to the desert. But I guess he just continues with all that stuff. So anyways, all right. Yeah. And we could be honest here and say it is a little bit complicated when you start talking about dates and you go, okay, like really, who's going to be here to count one when the earth is being decimated, as to when did the rapture happen? Did it happen yesterday, or was it a couple of days before that, or what? Because there's going to be all chaos on earth. So logically, you would think that, yes, you can count forward the number of days exactly. You would think logically that would make the most sense. The problem is with post or mid-trib is, again, the world's being decimated and everything's going on. There is a marker where the Antichrist declares himself to be God, and we know that that's halfway through the tribulation. So there are markers that you can actually do that. It's just that as Christians, as the body of Christ, we won't be here. So you'll most likely be in heaven with a countdown up there as well as to when we're coming back for the Battle of Armageddon. So let's just have a look at chapter 16. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go your way and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth." And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So after people take the mark of the beast, this is a side effect. This is how you can tell who's who. Who's who. Sores, open sores all over their body, basically from head to toe. And it feels like whatever is happening right now is almost like a precursor for what will happen here. And I know there are people in Africa that are not taking the mark of the beast. So we're not there yet, but there's examples that you can go and you're like, man, this feels like we're just living in the book of Revelation when you see stuff like what we just talked about going on in Africa. One thing that jumps out to me is, I don't know if I can share this here. Let me see if I can share this. This is an interesting book. I haven't finished it, but it's called Cobalt Red. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me show you this. It's Cobalt Red. This is quite interesting. I'm just going to read a little bit of this. Hopefully I don't get banned for talking about the Congo. The lithium battery power that powers your cell phone, laptop, tablet, or electric vehicle has a key ingredient called cobalt. 75% of the world's cobalt comes from one country, and it is mined essentially with slave labor. Siddharth Kara deep dive into the cobalt mines in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is an eye-opener. And if you don't know who this guy is, go on Joe Rogan, type in red cobalt. Joe Rogan does an interesting interview that will terrify you about these cobalt mines in Africa. And he has footage of children mining cobalt to trade or to sell to companies that are around these mines. And then they wash the cobalt and exchange it. They wash it basically into another currency, and these companies are owned by China. So China has a huge investment in Congo, which is interesting because Congo is also facing something else that is eerily similar to Revelation 16. Revelation 16, we just read that there are people that were getting boils all over the place for taking the mark. So the reason why I'm showing you that is I'm trying to tie things together without getting my channel banned. But what's going on there right now is crazy from the perspective of you have Chinese companies in Congo. This is a known fact. They're mining for cobalt. They're buying land in Africa so that they can mine cobalt. And what is it for? It's for electric cars. Kara takes the reader to a place where workers have no rights, where dust from the mines makes it painful to breathe, but a place where if you do not dig, you do not eat. Children routinely drop out of school to help feed the family, and they crawl into tunnels deep into the ground that are known to collapse instantly. We work in our graves, said one father of a boy who barely survived a cave-in. Despite the 10-hour days in toxic condition, under the baking sun, most earn $1. maybe $2 per day. The mined cobalt is sold up a supply chain for ever increasing prices, making people rich except for those who do the most dangerous work. At the top of that chain is the market for batteries, powering our electronic devices and especially electric cars, whose batteries require 1,000 times more cobalt than a phone. 1,000 times more cobalt goes into electric car than your phone. Congolese people are being exploited by China's mining companies who buy more of their land each year from the Congolese government officials who then line their own products. Government officials get rich but do not enforce the laws to protect citizens. Companies get rich but care nothing for the workers. Across 21 years of research into slavery and child labor, writes Kara, I have never seen more extreme predation for profit than I witnessed at the bottom of the global cobalt supply chains. And he has footage of this stuff. He actually recorded children in these mines. He brings the reader face to face with young children who work in tight passageways underground and young mothers who carry babies on their back while vigorously sifting rocks in muddy ponds. One mother thanked God for 2 miscarriages that spared her children from the treacherous mines. Please tell the people in your country a child in the Congo dies every day so that they can plug in their phones. And it goes on and on and on. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. So if you think about what's going on right now in Africa, it's predominantly in the Congo. So imagine if you're watching a movie and say the premise was you have a mad scientist that had some kind of a substance that you could release so that you can avoid people coming into your land to investigate what's going on, while a disease would be like the number one thing to do. Because now you can really mine. Now you can really go hard and mine all the cobalt, extract everything, and you can take all the riches. And there's years of cobalt left. It is a finite substance, but there's still years to go, years of mining. So imagine making Congo a no-go zone for foreigners. It's going to be zero tourism, zero Western eyes looking in, and it's only the companies that are actually working there, purchasing land, having their companies there that are reaping the benefits. And if you have some kind of an event, like a Black Swan event, nobody's going to be looking in that direction. They're all going to be looking at their phones. They're going to be watching the news. They're going to be seeing what's going on in the grocery stores, all this. Nobody's going to care about Congo. That's when they're going to get exploited extremely. They're already being exploited, but this is going to be on a mass scale, and it's predominantly going to be one country that's going to do it. They're doing it right now. Yeah, there's a good chance that we'll run out of cobalt before oil, which is interesting, especially in North America. Like they say hundreds of years, because we gotta mine all this stuff, especially up in McMurray, the tar sands. Like all of northern Alberta basically has, I shouldn't say tar sands, oil sands. Tar sands is really a bad word. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like an insult, really. But the marketing machine to call it that, because I grew up in Fort McMurray. I grew up there, and we joked about it, calling it tar sands, but that's incorrect. It's incorrect to call it that. But when I talk about the Pandora's box about to be open, this is what I'm talking about here. This is once you fool around and you start messing with people's bodies and you start injecting something, this could actually spread all over again. And then we're faced again. And then you may not be able to stop this either. You may not be able to stop this. And what's coming down the pipes? We've talked about it on Uptime Community Church. We're all basically on the same page, I believe, that it's going to be, we won't be shocked if one, if we get raptured. Two, if there is no election. I think that's the general consensus, that people won't be like, what? They're not doing an election this year? That's weird. Huh. That's what I'm predicting. No election. No election. Very similar to what was going on with President Zelensky in Ukraine. I called it right from the beginning. I taught, my very first video was talking about Ukraine being a superpower. They're going to be a big deal one day. Mark my words. They're going to be a player, a serious player. Why? And they're investing heavily, they're investing our money heavily into artificial intelligence. Most people would say Israel is at the top, then the United States of America, China, Great Britain, and believe it or not, Canada is ranked like 5th when it comes to artificial intelligence, which is so bizarre. 5th. So again, you have companies that are investing heavily, and everything is transitioning in the fall. CERN is doing all their upgrades. They're hoping to be done all their upgrades by the end of the year, meaning they're going to turn that sucker on again. They're going to turn it on again, and they hope to have this machine so fine-tuned by 2029. But right now they keep turning it on and they're like, this thing doesn't work. Meanwhile, who knows what they're doing, if they're altering our planet. We'll never know fully till we get to heaven. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that about Hawaii. It's going all over. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that, man. That's awesome. It feels like time is short. You know, like, this is not the time to be messing around in regards to, like, I don't know, so many things you could be doing to waste your time. I'm not talking about just watching a movie or something here and there. I'm talking about treating what's going on right now as though the Lord can come back tomorrow. And again, we're not guaranteed that we're going to be here tomorrow. Personally, ourselves, we're not guaranteed anything. So we have to occupy every single day, and we have to edify the body of Christ and build each other up. Like, no matter what happens, you got to understand what Christ did for us on the cross, no matter what happens. Meaning, you are a joint heir in Christ. And you can't find this stuff in the Old Testament. You can't find this out. It's unsearchable. You can't figure out what some of the rewards the Gentiles have, and that's eternal life. And it's the idea that we have seats in heavenly places. We will be judging angels. So imagine 1,000,000 years from now in the future, you're still going to be a part of the body of Christ. That's what Christ did for us on the cross. So whatever is happening right now is just a little flicker, a little speck, just a little speck. What's interesting is On Departure Heaven, they did a pretty cool video. Basically, I think Rick, Gary, and Bob got raptured. They did a pretty cool video. So if you check it out, I don't think it's very long, Rick. I think it's only just a few minutes, but it makes you go, all of a sudden you're like, it can happen that fast. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. You're not going to ban me if I show it, Rick? Let me see if I can find it. Let me see, because I thought it was pretty cool. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me see. All right. Okay, let's go here. All right. I like Rick's stuff. I'm telling you, this guy's stuff is top notch. So this is Rick. He's on here right now. It's a hit already on YouTube. Okay, so let's check it out. We're going to watch it together. And this is Rick's video here. So I won't give away the ending. We'll just watch. It's only like a minute. It's only like a minute. And he posted yesterday, I believe. It's got already 1,600 views on it. So let me just make sure you guys can see it. I always have to bounce back and forth to make sure that you guys can check it out. Okay, here we go.
Folks, what you're about to witness is nothing short of the truth. What if me and Bob Barber and Dustin were doing our live Prophecy Monday show and the rapture took place right there live on air? Just imagine what it would look like. Roll on. Gone forever. And this channel, it'll record for the length of, I think the longest you can record.
Okay, that's hard to do. That was hard to do for me. Very hard to do. But that was fun, wasn't it? I'm like, okay, how can I stop the sharing and crawl under my desk and then come back? Like, I do my own stunts here. I do my own stunts. You guys are probably wondering, is this guy Tom Cruise? Who is this guy? No, folks, I'm not Tom Cruise. Some of you might think, maybe, just maybe, the fellow that was just on the video is Tommy Lee Jones. I know he looks like Tommy Lee Jones, but it's not. It's actually Rick from Departure Heaven. So go check out his channel. Subscribe to his channel. Support him. He's doing a good thing. His channel's exploding. He's going to catch up to me. I know he is. He's going to catch up to me. He was like, I think about a month ago or just over a month ago, he was under 1,000 subscribers. He got like, what's he got? What are you at now, Rick? 2, 3? Man, explosion. Explosion. So, like white Jackie Chan. What would be funny is I remember there's times where you're on a movie set or something. I've shared this with my audience before, but I was on a movie set called Inception a while ago, and just happens to be one of my favorite movies. I even bought the script, and there was 10 of us that were assigned to the mountain. I had a trailer and everything for a week, and the idea behind it was to actually go there, and we were doing the winter scene. So there was myself and Daryl, a buddy of mine, and we were the only 2 guys that were left-handed with our machine guns. And I actually got to speak to Christopher Nolan because I gave him my advices on how he should run the show. I could have got kicked off the set, but I was pretty cocky back then. I remember Christopher Nolan showed up. They had the IMAX cameras rocking and rolling. They had the stunt team getting ready, and Christopher Nolan went on the platform and he's like, you know what? Basically, what I want you to do is when you see the flare, is I want you guys to just scatter off the platform. And then I walk up to him and I'm like, Chris, buddy, baby. Here's the motivation for my character. I'm thinking, just spitballing, just work with me here. I know it costs like $1,000 a second for me talking to you, but just hold on. What if I look back like this and I do this? Because my character would be motivated to be shocked by the flare. So I look back real quick, and then I look back, and then I run to the other side of the platform. What do you think, Chris? And I know Chris was thinking about a million things, and he's looking, all of a sudden he looks at me and he's like, yeah, whatever. And then he walked off. It was the greatest day of my life. I even got to meet Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, meet is kind of a loose term. That's, we use this in the industry when we're on the inside. I met Leonardo. Basically, well, the idea was he was walking by me and I kind of went in front of him like, hey, how you doing, Leo? And he did something I'll never forget. He went like this. Just gave me a little nod. That nod was special. And you know what? Clinically, I'm 6'2". I hunch right now. But he was just as tall as me. He's not like little Jack from the Titanic. He wasn't little. He's a tall guy. I had no idea. Walk right by me. I feel like we're bros. So bros. Anyways, where was I going? Oh, Inception. I have no idea why I said that. There was something about it. Dream within a dream. Don't know. It'll come back to me. Somewhere. The point is, it almost feels like sometimes we are living in a dream within a dream. Like when you think about it, like the stuff that's going on right now is quite bizarre. Oh, I know what I was talking about. Rick looks like Tommy Lee Jones. And I can't even figure out what I was talking about. I can't even pretend to remember what I was talking about, but that's okay. It's all right. But yeah, I used to like that kind of stuff. Going to movies and having fun, being an extra. No, he's not short. That's the crazy thing. He was just as tall as me. I was a little bit intimidated by him. I was like, wow. We were crazy too, because I remember the gun wrangler gave us all our guns, all our machine guns and everything, and he's making us check them. He's like, look inside here. See this? This one has no pin and there's no bullets. Okay? And this gun is a dummy gun. It's just like a wooden gun, but it looks like a real gun. So there's nothing here. Triggers don't work, whatever it is, but don't point these guns at each other. Okay? And we're like, yeah, no problem. As soon as he went around the corner, we're all like sticking the gun in each other's butt and pulling the trigger. And we're like, I got you. We could have been kicked off the set. We're just idiots when it comes to a gun. Like, I'm going like this. Is this good? What do you think? Is this a good look? On the set of Inception. And then the Wrangler come around the corner and we're like, what? We never did anything. Crazy. All right, so let's see here. What Leo asked me this time once. I worked. Leo asked me the time. Oh, wow. What did he say? What time is it? It's time for you to get out of here. It's probably what he was thinking with me. Hey, Shane, what time is it? I'm like, time for me to leave? Time for me to not bug you, Leo? Is that what time it is? That's cool, though. Boy's life. Awesome. That is cool. Where are these rockets headed shot from the coast of Florida? Anybody know? No, I don't know. You know who lives in Florida? Rick from Departure Heaven. Where are you seeing things about Russia and Florida? I can't find any. Me neither. Not really looking, but yeah, Inception was a great show. So when you think about CERN being activated, and you think about the imminency of Iran attacking Israel at any time, I've talked in another video about the Samson option that Israel has at its disposal, meaning if you try and overwhelm Israel, it will devastate the entire Middle East, all the way to the Euphrates River and beyond. It's not just Israel. It's going to take everyone out if you mess with them. So you got that going on, and then you got the elections coming on. And I was pretty sure CERN was also going to turn something on in October as well. But right now, with the media, they're just showing like Kamala Harris is way ahead of Trump. Like just way ahead. All of a sudden, without doing anything, just a few rallies, all of a sudden she's ahead. And I think there is a debate coming down the pipes. I think so. It's weird. Here's what I feel like is going to happen. I feel like they're going to book a debate, and then something's going to happen with the World Health Organization that will say it's actually not safe to have a debate, and perhaps they could have a virtual debate. Then you could use a virtual or a deep fake Kamala, and then it would be easy to debate Trump. Something like that. It feels like it's not going to happen. It feels like they're not going to have a debate. And it feels like you in America are not going to have an election. That's what I think. I would be surprised if people voted and Trump was swearing on the Bible the next day, being sworn in as the president. I will be extremely surprised. I hope that happens in some ways. But a part of me is like, this may not be the same guy coming back. And my sister's talked to that about me as well. I think she actually came up with the idea that what if Trump goes back and he's just so ticked off or whatever. And then the more I thought about it, like I have all of Trump's books. I have them all. They're all back there. But I have them all. And in The Art of the Deal, there's one part in the book that makes me a little bit more reflective. And that is, Trump said, if your enemy comes at you, go back at them 10 times harder so that they will never forget that they came after you. This is how you handle bullies. So imagine being bullied for the last couple of years in court, death threats to the family. You actually shot at the former prime minister, and you're still not sure if it was an inside job or not. Imagine Trump keeping track of all of this stuff. And I know Dr. Phil tried to counsel him and say, you're not going to take revenge, are you? Even though people are trying to kill you and shoot you and all this stuff, you're not trying to take revenge, are you? I think it's a weird question to ask. I think it's weird because if you're in that situation, I think you'd be really seriously wondering who your enemies were. Who can you trust? I watched an interview with Cristiano Ronaldo, and he was asked, how many people do you trust? And I think it was by Tucker Carlson. I think the interview was Tucker Carlson. And he said, how many people in your inner circle do you trust? And he sat there, and Christian sat there, and he was like, 4 people. 4. How many people do you think Trump trusts? I think it's just his family. That's it. You can't say Trump said today that he didn't take revenge on the former wife of a president. Yeah, well, she didn't shoot at him, allegedly. I'm just saying that think about it for a second here. He wasn't in trouble when he first became a president. It was after he became a president that all the stuff started piling up. So I don't think he understood the rules when he became the president. I don't think he understood the rules of the game. But now that he knows the rules, I think there's going to be a shift change if Donald Trump does get in, and it's probably going to happen faster than you think. And right now he's on our side as Christians, but you never know what people do. You don't know what happens to you when you get shot at. It changes things. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope Donald Trump is true to his word and everything, and then he becomes the president for the Americans, and then you just turn everything over, and then it'll just be so nice by January, and the economy roars back and all this. That's what I hope for. But somewhere deep inside, there's something inside me that's like, this feels a little bit different this time. This feels a little bit different, and I can't put my finger on it, but it feels different this time. And I felt the same kind of a feeling last year at this time, just probably maybe a week before Israel was attacked. I didn't know what it was. I made a video. Go back to September, about a week before Israel got attacked, and I said, war is coming. There's a war coming. I didn't know when, where. I was thinking more spiritual. And then the next week, Israel gets invaded and all this kind of stuff. I feel it feels like, again, there's a bit of a lull going on. It's weird that the World Health Organization made an announcement, and it's like they're gearing us up for the fall again. It's what it feels like. They're preparing us. They've been talking about this stuff for the last couple of years. And then with CERN getting mixed in and all this kind of stuff. And then with the election coming in and their 2030 plan? It's basically 6 years from now. So, and again, back to Zelensky, people were like, especially at the beginning, if you go all the way back to my very first video, I was like, there's something up with this guy. A guy that could play the piano with his little ding dong is weird. He's a comedian, and it's weird that people are cheering him on playing a piano butt naked. And that doesn't bother anybody. And then he's dancing in high heel shoes. I called the video the dance of the devil, or the dance of the Antichrist, and he's just dancing like a drag queen before whoever, and suddenly he becomes the president of Ukraine. So don't think that there isn't some kind of a humiliation thing going on, a ritual, in order for these leaders to jump into power. And the second President Zelensky came into power, he called a snap election. You have 30 days. Get ready. And then they voted, and he won in a majority landslide, and he dissolved the two major political parties like that. And after Russia invaded Ukraine, which was basically the first day that I recorded my video, he declared martial law. And this year, at the end of March, the last weekend of March, they were supposed to have an election in Ukraine. And I called it right from the beginning. I said, they won't have an election. Why? Because Zelensky has the right to renew martial law every 90 days. And I don't know what the rule is in the United States, but that's the only way that you can stop the election from happening, is if you guys have a worldwide emergency. They can just declare martial law in the States. And then there's no election. It's easy. It's easy to figure it out then. No election. Why? Because you're under martial law. And you don't have to have an election during martial law. You just keep kicking the ball down the road. And you just say something like, next week, we're only postponing because it's not safe to go to the polls. So next week. And then 30 days, and then 60 days, and 90 days. And then before you know it, you're not having an election anymore. And instead, you guys are almost like you're into a civil war. That's what I see coming down the pipes. And again, if Trump gets in, and it'll be hard for him to not go after his enemies. He's not going to say it. I'm now going after my enemies, I promise. No, it's going to be like, think about it. At the end of his rally, the Trump rally, he played that Godfather song. Remember the opera singer in The Godfather when, what's his name? The young son that was replacing the Godfather. What's his name? I should know it. But anyways, oh no, it wasn't that. It was was it Beyond Enemy Lines? It's a Jack Ryan movie with Ben Affleck. At the end, the president of Russia and the United States president, were signing a peace deal, a peace treaty, and they were each taking out their enemies. Russia was taking out their enemies with the KGB. The KGB was taking out their bad guys. And then Sum of All Fears. And then the Americans were taking out their people with the Secret Service or the FBI or whoever, taking out bad guys that were coming against the two presidents to make them fight. They played a song, an opera type song by this one guy, and I forget what his name is. If you give me 1 second, I can figure out what his name is. Let me just see here. I'll find it. Opera singer at the end of Sum of All Fears. Who is the guy? So the guy's name is Nessun. So the song is called Nessun Dorma. The opera was Turgot by Giacomo Puccini. So the reason why I bring that up is that was the song that Trump played at the end of his little, what do you call it, the Republican National Conference. He played that song. What does that mean? That means it's a warning to his enemies that I'm going to take care of you if I get into office. How do you think on God's green earth that Trump would figure out what kind of a song to play if you don't watch The Godfather? The Sum of All Fears. If you watch that movie, there's tension in the movie all the way through. If you watch it, you're going to be like, you know what? That's not a bad signal to my enemies that I'm watching you. I'm watching you. So they actually hired that opera singer to come to the Republican National Conference and sing that song. That's a warning shot. Yeah, Nessun Dorma. That's a warning shot by Donald Trump and his family saying, if you come at me, I'm going to come against you 10 times harder. And I'm showing you by playing this opera song. And you could say, nah, it's just a coincidence. Really? It's just a coincidence that Trump almost got killed and then the next week he's playing this opera music that was at the end of Sum of All Fears when they're taking out their enemies. You think that's just coincidence? I don't know, man. Give us a recap. Haven't seen it in so long. Basically the idea was enemies from both sides, enemies of Russia and enemies of the United States, basically were forcing each other to go to war. and make it look like they're actually attacking each other. And Ben Affleck's character, Jack Ryan, had to try and prevent it from happening, stop it, so it didn't look like Russia was actually attacking the U.S. and it didn't look like the U.S. was attacking Russia. That's pretty much the whole premise of the movie. So at the end, you have the president of Russia sitting down and then the United States president. And as they're signing it, they're shaking hands, opera music in the background, and in their own country, they're taking out bad guys, their own bad guys. So let's just say it was a secret agent. They know who their guys are, and they're like, yeah, you're a traitor. Boom. They weren't killing Russians in their land. They were killing other Americans that were betraying their nation. And in Russia, the KGB was killing Russians that were betraying their president. Crazy, right? Yeah, it's a mind game. You may not do anything, but if you're familiar with the movie, you're going to be like, huh, President Trump you think maybe that was a warning for us for coming against him? Yeah, probably. Most likely. Yeah, I feel like watching it tonight as well. Sum of All Fears. Great show. Way beyond its time. That's an interesting point. Subtle money is like if Kamala told the truth and they played Darth Vader music when she showed up. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because that's what we do when we watch a movie and the writers, the director, the editor, they want us to know when the bad guy shows up. You have Darth Vader. Dun, 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 dun. Is that right? Something like that. You know the bad guys are there because they're dressed in black as well. And it's like, yeah, here comes the bad guy. And that's our cue. So when Trump plays this opera music, that's a cue. Just don't know which side. It's like one of those, it's like the Phantom Menace. There's always two. But which one is the evil one? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, they didn't know. And then Palpatine turned on them. And what was his promise? I will take the power that you've given me so eloquently, and I will give this power back to you when it's all over. I will give it back to you. Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine. That's a great character. I'm going to talk about bad guys. That was a good bad guy. So was Darth Vader. I would rank Darth Vader as the number one bad guy. And then a close second would probably be, who's that big purple guy? Thanos. Him? He was a very good bad guy. So you got Darth Vader, and then you got Thanos, and then you got to put the Joker in there. It's just a different level. It's just a different thing, because obviously if the Joker faced off with Darth Vader, it'd be pretty quick. I think all you'd have is Vader going, oh, 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 and the Joker would be like, hey, what? It was just a joke. It was just a joke, and choke him out, and then done. It's over for the Joker, just like that. So that's why I think the same thing with Thanos. Like, all Darth Vader would have to do is just chop his arm off, like he did with his son and all of his friends, and unarm him. It's kind of a funny joke. Unarm him, get it? He cut off his arm unarmed, so now he's unarmed. And he'd just take off, just dismantle Thanos like nothing. By the time Thanos goes to snap his finger, his arm's cut off. So yeah, I think Darth Vader would destroy all those bad guys just like nothing. Just like nothing. So yeah, Phantom Menace is underrated. At first, it was kind of annoying with Jar Jar. I'll be honest with you. But what I wanted and what I was hoping for was that Jar Jar was actually going to be who's the big bad guy that showed up in episode what was it, 10, 11, and 12 or whatever it is, 7, 8, and 9. I thought that was going to be, what's the guy's name? Like, I hated the last 3 Star Wars movies so bad. I threw up on the sidewalk when I came out of the theater. It was horrible. But I thought if they made Jar Jar that guy, the supreme leader, Snoke, man, that would have been the greatest betrayal ever. Jar Jar, you mean it was you behind the scenes all this time? Suddenly you're like, oh, that makes sense why Jar Jar was annoying, because he's doing this drunken master thing. Misa's so stupid. And then you're fooled, and you're like, yeah, I get it. This is what makes Jar Jar the most powerful creature in the galaxy. But no, they blew it. They blew it. They wrecked it. Anyways, yeah, Joker's another good movie as well. Heath Ledger. I remember lining up outside the movie theater, and we went into the underground parkade, and it wound all the way around to the theater. The last time I had to line up for a movie like that was The Empire Strikes Back. And by the time I got to the door with my dad, they said, sorry, you got to come back another night. Right at the door. I was 10 years old. I was devastated. They filled up the theater and we had to come back the next day. So mad. And that lineup went up. It felt like it went for blocks in Fort McMurray. Plaza Theater, great place. No. Speaking of CERN, I could have swore Darth Vader said, no, Luke, I am your father. But no, CERN did something and manipulated the space-time continuum. And now I find out that Darth Vader said, no, Luke. He never said that. All he said was, I'm your father. That's it. He didn't say Luke. And I could have swore he said Luke. Could have swore. Apparently he never said Luke. I thought he did. Anyways, that's it for tonight's video. Crazy video that it is. But I hope you got something out of it. Make sure and check out Cobalt Red. What's it called? What's the book called? How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives by Siddharth Kara. I'm going to read that book as well. I'm going to finish it. It's a good book. It's sad. It's a really sad book, though. But if you want to know what's going on in Congo, that book will let you in on a thing or two. I'll tell you what. And this is an eyewitness account. This guy was actually there, and he actually took photos and he took pictures. And we're still wanting electric cars, and nobody's standing up saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't mine for cobalt without having all this rules and regulations, because you can't do that in Alberta. Alberta is like the safety capital of the world. Like, you have so many procedures. But apparently in the Congo, you don't need any rules. A child can just carry a bucket and then start mining for cobalt. It's not good for them either. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you guys. And I will see you in another video. I'm just going to put on our nice little music. And make sure to subscribe. Comment. Click the notification bell. Join us on Sunday as we do Rev 5. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. And we'll see you in another video. Bye for now. You guys are still here? This is kind of like, I'm kind of treating this a little bit like, Marvel. When the movie's over and you see the credits rolling, and then all of a sudden people are getting ready to leave, and then all of a sudden they see a trailer or something comes on. So this is to reward those people that are still here chatting in the comments. Thank you guys for hanging around. We had a fun time tonight. And this Sunday, I got to think of a title for this Sunday. I'm open to ideas about this Sunday. But last Sunday, we exploded. I have like 15,000 views from that one video. And I think I ended up I lost 80 subscribers right out of the gate for some mysterious reason. But then I ended up with like 600 subscribers over the next 2-3 days. So something special is happening on a Sunday night. If you can join us. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what the content. Usually I don't know until I hit record, really. I just hit a thumbnail and I'm like, okay, I'll just create a little thumbnail and then I'll just hit record and then hopefully something comes to me, because I don't take notes or anything. I don't write anything down. I just kind of wing it. Just wing it. So I'll probably do a thumbnail tomorrow morning. I just have to see. Have to think about it and see. It'll be on the Book of Revelation. I'll try and tie it in with what's going on with Israel. And yeah, it's interesting, right? General Flynn unredacted, full of content. You're one of the ones that had to resub. Yeah, my mom had to resub. I've heard that from people on my channel that they're like, yeah, I come back and I'm like, how come I'm not getting any notifications for Shane's channel? And then they look and they're like, unsubscribed? My wife must have unsubscribed from Shane's channel in the middle of the night. I'm going to subscribe back. Yeah, don't forget you can watch this video again if you like as well. You can just rewind it. And yeah, let this be a reminder. After watching this, tomorrow, if you wouldn't mind just making a little sticky note somewhere, make sure to continue to be subscribed to Black Swan Revelations, because YouTube sends out its bots every once in a while to people's channels, and it's horrible, but they just send them out and then they just randomly take people's video or take people's subscribers out. They don't even tell us. They just, all of a sudden you're down a few subscribers. Like, that's weird. Usually for the past 2.5 years, my channel was going like this, and then all of a sudden you get a dip. And then I think because the content was so good that it overrode what the bots were trying to do, and they had to let it go. And then the video just continued to climb because, again, YouTube gets excited when people watch their channel. So it does a disservice to YouTube by unsubscribing people that have spent time on your channel. And you have YouTube creators that are actually creating content and spending time on it. And then we value our subscribers. We really do. Because the more subscribers that you have, especially after watching a video, if you get subscribers coming on board and people commenting, because that helps. Even if you don't watch the whole video, your comments help. Thumbs up helps, because that tells YouTube that you're interested in that topic, and they'll go, wow, if this person likes the video, maybe there's other people, and it'll keep pushing the channel to the top so that other people can see it. That's how it works. But if you click away from the video right away, it tells YouTube that you're not the right audience, because it's like, you're watching something and something else comes up that you're like, no, that's not what I meant. So for example, here, if somebody types in Black Swan, chances are they're going to come across my channel, because that's what I talk about, Black Swan events. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate that. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, Pambolina, for moderating today. Appreciate your faithfulness. That's awesome. Thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate you for helping me out. And I'll see you guys this time. I'll see you guys most likely by Sunday. I'll probably post a little video tomorrow. But I'm going to be getting ready for Sunday. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.